The global healthcare ecosystem is in flux. Rising patient expectations, regulatory reforms, and data first demands are forcing hospitals to reimagine how care is delivered, measured, and scaled. From AI assisted diagnostics to integrated HIS systems and connected ICU infrastructure, the future of care is becoming increasingly digital and deeply dependent on IT leadership. But real transformation doesn't start with code, it starts with conviction, with visionaries who understand that digital isn't just about speed but about systemic sensitivity, continuity of care, and operational excellence. In today's episode of InfinitLoop, the Sify podcast series, we dive into the pulse of healthcare IT, what it takes to build and lead resilient, secure, and intelligent digital ecosystem in hospitals across India. And joining us is a stalwart in this domain, someone who has built IT ground up in Greenfield and Brownfield hospitals and continues to lead the transformation for one of India's largest healthcare networks. Mr. Prashant Singh, Director IT and CIO, Max Healthcare. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for inviting me here.
I wanted to understand, now that you've been in the healthcare industry for over 2 decades, how have you seen the technology change from, being a back-end function to actually being a frontline strategic function now?
Yeah. So the memory, goes back to 1996, actually, when I started as a computer faculty, and then the healthcare journey starts at year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So it is around 25 years in healthcare, actually, and I'm observing, IT since the days actually when it was called electronic data processing, that is EDP. So I've seen the entire era coming from where you are absolutely a backend, and it is more of an administrative automation kind of systems, actually, where you are responsible for keeping the lights on and all the administrative system, billing systems is working fine or not, and then I think then it moved to the next level where a lot of digitization and automation people were talking about, and IT was busy in that through various systems, and then from the automation and digitization, the world moved towards the patient-centric engagement, and it more from the siloed system to the integrated system, wherein the data can be cross-transferred between various systems and make a meaningful insights for the patient and doctors and for all the relative stakeholders for the healthcare delivery system. So, and now we are talking about AI, and it is not the future, it is present only, and now people have started using it, and so are we also working on various projects pertaining to this. So the entire journey from backend to fourth end, from the billing systems to the patient-centric system, actually, which we have moved on. So this is what the entire journey actually I have seen over 2 decades from that point of view.
Sure, sir. Sure. So since now that you've led, the digital transformation for both Greenfield and Brownfield hospitals, what is the difference between, building it actually from scratch and for legacy systems?
See, both the Greenfield and Brownfield projects, poses a different challenge, from the implementation point of view. If you see the Greenfield implementation, you have a lot of time. It depends on whether you're an established group or this is the first hospital. So if you're the first hospital, then there has to be a perfect planning in terms of, how the entire digital ecosystem, and from the infrastructure planning to final implementation of all the software and application which will happen from the Greenfield point of view. And I compare Greenfield little more simpler as compared to Brownfield. So Brownfield, when you start implementation of any project, so you are challenged with a lot of systems already running there. There are already legacy systems. So at Max Healthcare, our strategy has been we use one single instance of software in all the hospitals. So after due diligence, we try to replace the existing system so that we are on a single instance of all sort of applications there. Of course, there are a lot of challenges which comes with the brownfield implementation, like data migration from the legacy system to the new system, actually, which you are actually going to implement in that particular brownfield project. Apart from data migration, there are a lot of challenges in the old IT infra, which is already there. So you have to really wisely see that how much of that infra you can leverage existing in the existing setup, and how much you want to replace. So that again attracts for a lot of capex involvement in terms of the replacing the entire thing. Training is another big challenge in the brownfield project implementation, where people are already accustomed with the existing applications and the services which they are already leveraging.
Yeah.
And whenever you impose a new system, there is always a big issue of the change management. So change management being a difficult task to break and to solve for, so that is another challenge which we see. So these are few of the couple of challenges basically we face whenever we implement greenfield versus brownfield implementation.
Sir. I mean, you just spoke briefly about being patient-centric, hospitals being patient-centric just before this answer. I wanted to briefly touch upon that. So healthcare IT is a little, high stake. So when you want to actually work for hospitals, how do you make it, patient-centric? How do you make it compliant while it also be scalable? Healthcare IT.
See, now when we talk about applications, there are two sets of applications which we use. One which we build in-house, and the one actually which we take from some third party based on the different requirements from the patient point of view. So both the approaches are different in terms of scalability and security point of view. In third party, it is very simple that you do the assessment from the TPRM point of view, the security assessment point of view, and what are the gaps, and then you can tell the partner that okay, these are the gaps which you need to fill and take it to the next level, so that it becomes scalable and secured in both the practices. When we are talking about the in-house systems which you develop in-house, so there has to be the complete theory of SDLC and the entire CI/CD pipeline, how beautifully you have built that particular pipeline, keeping the security by design. So and there are various factors which we still consider while somebody is writing the code, how from the quality point of view, is it good, bad, average, somebody keeps a watch, or there is a technology actually which takes care of the code quality also. From the scalability point of view, from the architecture point of view, it has to be vetted by some technologists actually who have that experience in that particular field, which actually we are building to go to the next level. The security, there are many aspects of security which we check while we build the solution, so that it can go to the market with the secured environment. So these are the couple of things which is part of the SDLC and CI/CD pipeline which we follow and implement while we envisage the particular system for implementation.
Sure, sir. So, sir, I briefly want to touch upon your accomplishments also. So, you have actually led digital transformation for so many organizations. Do you want to delve into certain accomplishments that you're very proud of?
See, ultimately, every accomplishment gives you a lot of satisfaction. Actually, maybe whether it is a small project or big project. So maybe I go back to the memories in 2010 or 12 around actually. So we were asked to build the platform for patients and doctor from the mobile friendly point of view, so that you can get the doctors can get the access at the bedside, and they can they use the records at the bedside only. And the time was very, very less, and actually it took us along with the partner, it took us 3 months to establish the entire platform and roll out to the doctors and patients both. Basically that was one actually which I feel that it was a great relief for the doctors, so that actually before coming to the patient, they can just refer all the documents related to the patient, related to reports and alerts, and there are many things. So like these, there are many things actually which we have implemented using the low-code, no-code technology also. Because over a period of time, what we felt is there are various small gaps which doesn't gets fulfilled by a major application. You still need to build the smaller application to bridge the gap between these bigger systems. So we leveraged low code no code platform, and we have kind of created a culture wherein my IT team goes to the user and say that this is the manual work, please give us 10 days and we will just automate it. So that is the kind of culture actually which we are very proud of, which we could create over a period of time for digitizing the manual work, so that we can get the best outcome from that point of view.
Sure.
There is another thing, because when we are talking about patient-centric and doctor-centric, so there are a lot of focus on the patient clinical outcome. So we could build a platform wherein we could automate all the taking all the data from the disparate systems, and give the final clinical outcome measures, which we call maybe 130 or 25 actually we could build, so that it helps the doctor to assess the clinical establishment also.
Okay.
Clinical practices, and maybe doctor can get a lot of inputs from those clinical outcome measures, so that it gets benefited from the patient perspective also. So this is how there are a couple of more I can talk about more accomplishments also.
I mean, you're free to.
Yeah. And maybe I think another area actually which is very, very scary these days, actually, when you're talking about a lot of digital things.
Sure.
So you can't forget the underlying security actually, which is giving a lot of challenges in terms of the attacks and ransomware and things like that.
Okay.
So you have to have a perfect strategy in terms of and it is not about only technology, it is about technology, process and people both.
Yes.
All put together.
Yes.
So we could build a very good, resilient, cybersecurity framework around the organization, which we are very, very proud of. But on the other hand, actually, it is still a challenge, and it will always be a challenge, because this is something actually, even if you implement 90%, then also actually it is as bad or as good as 0%.
Sure.
So it is a journey, and we'll have to see whatever comes next, and you have to keep preparing yourself so that you can fight well.
Absolutely.
For all of this.
Yes, sir.
Another thing actually which is coming and in India is DPDPA. That is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, and this is the first time India is getting the policy for data privacy. So that is another big thing actually I see that the organization should be prepared for, and which we have already initiated the journey in terms of the impact analysis. And there are various phases actually one has to go in order to get the confidence from the privacy framework point of view.
Sure.
So that is another challenging thing which is coming up, which I foresee in the future.
Okay.
That point of view. Yeah.
So can't stop asking about people bit, because healthcare means taking care of people, of course, and you briefly spoke about them also. So, sir, healthcare happens to be people-centric, as we clearly are talking about it as we speak. So, sir, how do you teach change management with respect to doctors, nurses, and admins at the time of rolling out IT interventions?
It is a topic of great challenge when we talk about change management. So there has to be a perfect strategy, holistic strategy, I would say, which deals with whatever system you want to implement. First of all, the foremost thing is it has to be a top-down approach. So there has to be a perfect engagement of all the stakeholders, specifically the top management as well as the real user actually who is going to use or consume the technology. So there has to be a perfect sync between all of this, and you have to really clearly tell the user that okay, if you are implementing this, these are the clear outcomes which will come from this particular implementation. And as per our experience, actually what we have observed is, once you are clearly spelling out or articulating the outcomes which is expected out of the current system, people do accept this. Plus on top of it, actually when it comes from the top management side, then it really helps. So in my view, the formula actually which we follow is 45% technology and 55% governance.
Okay.
So I give a lot of weightage to the governance along with the technology, because I've seen a lot of technology, if in the absence of governance actually fails, or maybe doesn't get to the desired output.
Okay. Okay.
So this is in brief, yeah, and you have to have a very robust hand-holding and training mechanism.
Okay.
So that is, I think, if you follow all of this, I believe that I think the desired result can be achieved.
Sure, sir. I mean, this happens to be my last question. What do you think are the top 3 technology trends that will define healthcare in India in the next 5 years? If you could just, briefly touch upon it also.
See, AI is the biggest one, actually, which, I think what we see today is the tip of the iceberg, from the AI perspective.
Everything is AI lately.
Yeah, absolutely. So ultimately, what I foresee is the more adoption in terms of the clinical practices, the way hospital and doctors, have that. So and it revolves around the patient centric and patient output.
Sure.
And it is more because we see a lot of gap in terms of the healthcare stakeholder delivery management. So I really feel that AI will really fill that particular gap, or maybe reduce that particular gap in terms of the intervention and the way the patient is assessed from the doctor's side. So, and there are a couple of models actually which people have already started. We have also started using it in terms of how can we summarize the entire clinical record for a doctor, so that he takes a lesser time in assessing the patient and do more justice in terms of whatever the treatment plan actually he caters to. So AI is of course one. Robotic surgery, actually I am seeing, although actually it has already picking up from the adoption point of view. Many hospitals have already adopted, and the way actually it is progressing, I foresee that very soon, I think, although few of the people have tested also, having the tele surgery.
Okay.
People, the doctor sitting at the remote area and using the technologies to perform the surgery at a remote location. So that is the future actually, although actually there are very few examples these days, but in future actually I see that more often it will happen from that point of view.
I'd like to know a little more about this telesurgery part, sir.
So telesurgery is like, for example, you are using a robot for performing the surgery, and instead of putting the the control of the robot in the same OT, so the console is placed at the remote location.
Okay.
And the robotic arm is on the patient.
Okay.
So the doctor who is sitting at the distant location is performing the surgery, and these two are geographically different locations. Of course, the bandwidth and the network has to play a very important role in performing this.
Yes.
But I think the way things are improving, I foresee that I think this is still possible, but this will be in more practice.
Okay.
So that is what I foresee that. Privacy is another third one actually, which we shouldn't forget, because that will pose a new challenge from the data privacy point of view. So that I think people have to think about data privacy very, very seriously.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, coming from media background and coming on to IT, data privacy is one major challenge that all of us are facing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and there are more things coming up actually, which people have already started exploring, like genomics is one, precision medicine actually, which we are calling it as, that the doctor exactly know how to deal with that particular patient as per the condition of that particular patient. Correct. Only using the genomics and all. So yeah.
So multiple startups also opening up with respect to this genomics thing, right?
Correct.
There's been a recent boom, and I have been following up these startups very closely, so I do know a little bit of it.
Correct.
Sure.
So idea is how we can help the doctor practice in a more efficient way.
Absolutely.
Because the healthcare revolves around 3 buckets: the support staff, the nursing, and doctor.
Yeah.
So technology has to help all of these 3.
Yes.
and it has been helping, but things actually which we foresee, it'll be going to the next level from the technology outcome perspective.
Sure. I mean, it has been a very enlightening discussion first and foremost, and I'm honored to be sitting next to you, asking you questions. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I do hope to listen from you very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.